What's up guys, I've already helped thousands of people learn Jira, and today I want to go over another super popular and powerful tool from the Atlassian suite, Confluence. Now, Confluence at its core is a collaborative team workspace where you guys can basically store all sort of information. And today I will guide you through everything needed to know to use Confluence on your own, for your team, for your company, and so on. To get started, head over to the Confluence website. Now, Confluence does offer a super competitive free plan, which is probably going to get the job done for most of you. However, their paid plans are also super affordable, given all of the features which you're actually going to get. So right here, just get started with a new account. And by the way, if you guys do want to support me for completely free, you can use my affiliate link down below when signing up to Confluence. Either way, once we are right here, we will have to submit all of our personal details, and once we've did so, we will then have to actually also answer some questions, just so that Confluence can actually customize our whole experience. Once you've then successfully registered, you're most likely being redirected to this same exact page. Now, I know this can look somewhat intimidating right now, so let's actually quickly opt out of this by clicking on the Confluence logo on the top left. This is going to redirect us to the Home tab right here, as you can see, and this is going to give us a general overview of all of the different pages which we left off. We can see what is happening with other people we follow, what's popular, different kind of announcement, we can see the calendar and so on. We can also see recent, start, drafts, tasks, as well as administration, and inside here we can then actually also see our spaces. And it is actually super important to understand how these spaces actually work, so let me quickly go over that. Alright, first of all, how does Confluence work? Now, as already mentioned, Confluence is a collaborative software tool which can be used for team documentation, knowledge sharing, project management, and a lot more. Now, when it comes to the Confluence hierarchy, this is pretty simple, but still super important to understand. Right here, we do first of all have the space. Now, the space is just going to be the broad overview of things inside your Confluence account. So if you, for example, are a company, one space could be marketing, and inside the space, you're then going to have different kind of folders. These are so that you can further subdivide your space into different kind of parts. So in marketing, for example, one folder could be about ad spend. And then inside the folder, you are going to have the actual content, which in Confluence is going to be through pages. You're going to have normal pages with your normal text, tables, and so on. And there are also some other page types like whiteboards and some other ones, which we are going to cover later on. So by default, as you can see right here under spaces, we do have our personal space, which is going to be named after the name that you have put in when registering. And then also my first space. This would be what we call a team space, just a normal space essentially. I'm going to get started by clicking on my personal space, and this is then going to be the actual space view. On the left, you can see all of the content inside the space, and this is kind of going to be through our card style. Under automation, you can then actually automate certain tasks. So for example, if there is a change of the owner in a page, then a certain kind of page is moved. Essentially, you are going to have tons of different default templates which you can use for automating different stuff, and you can actually also create rules on your own from default. And additionally, you can actually also create rules with AI, which I actually really like. I think this is a pretty strong feature, as you can just tell AI essentially everything that you want to implement on your Confluence account. Under analytics, you can then see analytics of your space, of the different tasks being created and so on. Calendar is going to be a calendar view, and you can then actually also visit the general space settings right here. And then we can actually also add shortcuts. These shortcuts essentially are just going to be websites which you can add onto this. So I'm just going to say that I'm going to add Google, and then I'm going to simply add google.com onto this. And now when we are going to insert this, this is going to open up Google. Now, if you, for example, do have a project or a space where you do need certain kind of internet sites, then it obviously makes sense to add these right here to easily access them, and so that you don't have to always put in the correct internet site essentially. But in most cases, I personally don't really use this, but if you want to, you can do so by adding that right here. Under content, you can then see the actual content. So right here we can see the getting started thing, which by default has been created, and we can then actually also create new contents. As already mentioned, we can add new folders to further subdivide our space, or we can then also add normal pages, whiteboards, databases, and smart links if we want to. Now before we are going to dive into the actual page right here, let's head back and let's actually click on our name on the top left. By default, this is going to say some random text right here. We can then actually also see all of the recent pages that I've worked on, and we are also going to have a get in touch section. Let's now actually edit this by either clicking E on your keyboard or by clicking on here on the top right. So essentially this space overview for our personal space can be used as kind of a digital index card, I guess. So kind of just a profile of you, which you can then share and which other people, for example, inside your company can also view. So right here, I can then, for example, put in, hey, my name is Elias. I specialize in creating high quality YouTube videos. And then I don't really like the color of this, to be honest. I can then highlight this and I can then basically change this up. I can change the text style by using any of these default text presets, or I can also make this bold. I can change the color right here, which I'm actually going to do. I'm going to change this to just normal default black. I think this does look way better. And then we can actually also change we can, for example, highlight different things. So I'm just going to say high quality YouTube videos should be highlighted. And I'm then going to highlight this in kind of a green tone. Okay, this doesn't really look that good, but this is just how you can do it. You don't have to do it exactly like I'm doing it currently. Either way, we can then actually also further customize this, and we can actually also insert all sorts of different elements. Now in Confluence, this works through the backslash right here. And this is then going to open up this quick menu where you can then actually put in all sorts of different elements, like an action item, an image, a mention, an emoji, expand, table, code snippet, and so on. Basically anything. So I'm, for example, going to add an image, and then I'm going to click on here. I've now added my profile picture. I'm going to make it slightly smaller, and you can just put in any kind of image or video which you want to. This would just be an example. Additionally, we can also select the whole block right here, and we can then actually change the spacing of these columns if we want to. I'm just going to leave it at the default for now. Another thing which is also super important to notice is that when you're going to put in the backslash, of course you are going to have all of the element items. I've already showed you this. However, you are also going to have different kind of what I call action items, and these are super powerful. So let's, for example, scroll down, and right here you can then see that through AI you can summarize writing, you can improve writing, and actually you can also translate something to a certain kind of language. You can page index certain things, and essentially these action items are super powerful, because let's, for example, say that we do want to translate this text right here to German. In this case, all which I would have to do is put in a backslash, then I'm going to put in German, and now this is going to say translate to German, and now we can actually put this in, and now this text is going to be translated to German. To now further customize this, I would recommend you to put in all of your social profiles right here, and if you, for example, would want to add another block like this one, a big one, then you would have to just head over to the layouts section right here, click on it, and now a new layout has been created, and we can then actually also use this to put in all sorts of different information about ourselves. I'm now going to simply just update this. However, actually there is still one thing which I want to do. I want to actually add a header onto this to make it look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to simply just hover over this. I'm going to click on header image, and I'm then just going to put in nature, and now we can use any of these beautiful pictures. I'm going to use this one, I guess, and I'm going to slightly drag this around so that yeah, maybe something like this. Okay, and then we can apply this. Now we also do have a header image, and I think this right now does look way more personal, which I really like. So when actually heading over to the content tab right here, and when opening, and let's actually create a new one, let's create a new page right here, and now we can give this page a title. I'm going to rename this page example. Now the actual editing process right here is essentially going to be the same as on the default space view right here. However, let's actually click on page example, and let's now click on the three dots on the top right. Right here under templates and import, you can essentially see all sorts of different templates which you can all add onto your Confluence page, and I cannot stress about how powerful this is, because essentially you can just use this as a starting point for anything related to your company, to your projects, and so on. So if you, for example, would want to create an email drip campaign, you could simply just select it right here, and by then clicking on it, this is now going to give us a full-on email click campaign template, which we can then use and which we can then customize. Now, when actually going over this, we can then select different kind of columns. We can then, of course, customize everything, and we can still also add other elements onto this. One thing which I really like is that we can, by putting in a slash, we are going to have these kind of nodes, node panel, or let's actually put in panel. We are going to have these different kind of panels, and these are super nice to actually highlight certain kind of information. So in this case, I can then just put in, make sure to add when adding a new email campaign. And we can then inside here also customize this, and this essentially is just a great way, in my opinion, of making your whole Confluence page look a bit nicer. So I'm now going to rename this to email drip campaign, and we can then actually publish this. And now we do have this site published. Perfect. Let's now actually opt out of this. Now that we know how to use our personal space view, let's actually head over to the create button right here on the top. Let's click on space, and let's now actually add a new team space onto this. So I'm going to name this team space. We can then choose an icon. So I guess they are going to give you guys some default icons. You can of course also upload an image. I'm going to just add a hot dog, and then we can actually also choose the purpose for the space. Now the collaboration space is the one which I'm going to choose for this tutorial, but Confluence is actually also being used as a knowledge space. Now the actual setup for both of these options is basically going to be similar. However, if you guys do want me to create a proper in-depth knowledge base tutorial in the future, let me know in the comments down below. And also, if this video is helpful to you, make sure to like and subscribe. Either way, I'm going to select collaboration, and I'm then just going to click on next. We can now select all of the features which we want to add onto our space. I'm just going to enable all of them, and let's now actually create a new space. Alright, great, now we are on the team space, and this basically works the same as on our personal space. On the left we once again do have all sorts of different tabs. We also do have the shortcuts and our content. Let's for example create a new page right here. I'm going to once again, let's actually just go for a template. I'm going to use this one-on-one meeting template right here, and now we've actually inserted this onto our team page. And we can then actually invite people onto this to actually collaborate on this. This is going to be on the bottom left. Right here, you will then just have to put in names or emails, and you can then automatically add people to Confluence. And I think in the free plan, you're even going to get up to 10 people on a project, which is pretty nice. Additionally, on the team space, we do have a new section called blogs. These blogs are most of the time being used to share information, and most of the time, this is going to be one time for a certain thing, for a certain kind of announcement. We can then also head over to our team space overview, and this is then going to give us an overview of the description, projects, recently updated content, and essentially this information is going to be updated depending on all of the actions which you or your coworkers are going to do inside your space. Let's actually also create a whiteboard inside this, as I think this is actually a pretty nice way. I personally use these whiteboards to kind of store my information, and I kind of use it as a way to just add something and then forget about it and come back to it later. Either way, right here, you can basically scroll in, scroll out. You can then add sticky notes onto this, and you can also put it in full screen. And then let's just add this right here, and then I'm going to just put in idea 1, and this is basically going to work similar to other whiteboard tools, but I just really like this because you can then connect certain kind of things onto this and so on. And of course you can actually also use any of these templates right here. So for example, if you do want to create a service blueprint, then you can actually use this template, and this is then going to give you guys an in-depth service blueprint thing which you can actually use for your business. And of course you are also going to have a lot of other use cases inside here which you can all use. As you can probably tell by now, Confluence is a super powerful collaboration tool, so make sure to right now get yourself a free Confluence account with the link down below. Otherwise, if you're looking for a tool which is more tailored towards project management, you can watch my Jira tutorial right here, another great tool from the Atlassian suite. Either way, I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.